and I'd like to introduce myself. So my name is Donna Ogratici, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to the SME for Labour Women's Achievement Awards reception here at the House of Commons. Like many women in this room, I wear many hats. I'm a mum, a business owner, and tonight I'm here as the organiser for SME for Labour, celebrating women whose dedication, creativity and courage inspire us all. Tonight we come together to honour women, entrepreneurs, leaders, campaigners and change makers, whose work uplifts others and strengthens our communities, workplaces and society as a whole. I'd like to share a little of my journey as a small business owner of two. I founded Donna, a London-based luxury outerwear brand, but it wasn't an easy path. I grew up surrounded by creativity and strong women who built with their hands and hearts. By 6, I was sketching. By 7, I had knitted my first creation. For as long as I can remember, my dream was to create a global fashion label built on craft, heart and purpose. Yet cultural and societal expectations often told me such dreams weren't worth chasing. Being young, I believed them. I therefore followed the more conventional path, building a career in events and focusing on family life. But that creative fire never dimmed, and 3 years ago, I finally found the courage to honour it and chase that dream. As a single mum of 3, including 2 daughters, I hope to lead by example, to show them that their dreams, no matter how bold or unconventional, are always worth chasing. My hope is that they, like all the young women who will follow, grow up free from the limitations that held so many of us back. And perhaps one day, they too will stand in rooms like this, being celebrated for their own achievements. Like many women in business, I've learned that navigating the fast-paced world of work, whether running your own venture or contributing within a team, is never easy. Whether we're leading projects, supporting teams, juggling responsibilities, or struggling to make our mark, building something meaningful takes courage, endurance, and above all, support. And that's where SME for Labour makes such a difference. We champion small and medium-sized enterprises, the lifeblood of our economy and the backbone of our communities. We work to strengthen connections between the labour movement and the small business community, advocating for fairer policies, supporting entrepreneurship and giving business owners a voice. Our network brings together entrepreneurs, employees and political figures from all walks of life, united by the belief that business and social progress go hand in hand. Donna is more than a brand to me. It's a testament to persistence and purpose, a quiet rebellion that shows no matter the fear of balancing life and work or the fear of the unknown, stepping forward anyway is strength. Every challenge faced with every dream pursued carries the belief that women can build, lead and transform. By daring to follow our dreams, we create change today and inspire the next generation to do the same. Tonight we celebrate you, the women who challenge convention, who lift others and who make a difference every single day. Whether in business, public life or beyond, your courage continues to shape a fairer, stronger society. We are especially honoured to be joined by Emily Darlington MP, our host this evening, and by members of Parliament who continue to champion women in business and public life. Thank you for your support and leadership. And to our award recipients, congratulations. Your achievements embody the best of what our movement stands for: equality, opportunity and solidarity. Thank you all for being here tonight, for supporting this work and for celebrating these remarkable women with us. It's now my great pleasure to invite to the stage Tonya Antoniazzi, MP, to say a few words before our host Emily Darlington MP takes over. Thank you.
It's always very entertaining. I'm Tonya Antoniazzi. I'm the Member of Parliament for Goa, And I'm so happy to be here celebrating alongside this year's winners of the SME for Labour's Women Achievement Awards. It really is an absolute honour. You fantastic women are some of the biggest brains in the United Kingdom, helping to power our economy, guide us through the AI landscape and improve our healthcare. Fair play to you. Now, congratulations. Be proud of what you've achieved and give yourself just that moment to pause, reflect and enjoy being acknowledged for all your hard work. Championing women is my favourite thing, and celebrating our successes is key to keeping up the momentum. I never take for granted the great privilege of being here in Parliament. I was the first woman ever to be elected to represent the constituency of Gower. That's the outskirts of Swansea in South Wales, if you don't know, but it's very pretty. And since I became an MP in 2017, the number of women in the Commons has increased from 208 to 263. That's 55 more women, and that really does make me proud. Back in the 90s, if you haven't heard me speak before, I was a rugby international for Wales. That was a long time ago. I can't tell you how much women's representation in the game has improved. Not only in football, we've seen the success of the Lionesses, and also this year for me, the Rugby Women's World Cup and the Red Roses Women, the World Cup at Twickenham. That really, really was a moment. And while I'm talking about England, and in Welsh, I'm really proud to see, ex-pupils of mine playing for Wales and seeing, young people getting out there and achieving their dreams. I heard from, it's not me by the way, I heard from a friend's daughter at Loughborough University that this year twice as many girls turned up to join the rugby team than last year. That is huge, huge progress. And as you know, it's not just the hard work that's got you to where you are. You were talking about being a single mum. I was a single mum when I came into Parliament, and without my mum saying, I think you're bonkers, but I know you're going to do it anyway, I wouldn't be standing here today. And I know that behind every strong woman are women and men and families and friends that believe in you. They encouraged you, they introduced you to people that could help you on your journey, and they picked you up when things weren't going so well. And that is what we will always remember. So, pay it forward, mentor other women, fund other women's businesses, believe in women, invite women and girls to come to do work experience with you. The one thing I really enjoy more than anything, having been a teacher, is seeing that, ex-pupils and other women that want to come into Parliament, I open my doors because it's really important that they see what we do and what we experience day to day. It's tough to juggle life as a mum, although he's 21 now, so I'm having a bit of an easy time of it. As a mum, as a carer to my mother later on in her life, and just doing everything that keeps you going. We've just been having a conversation with the woman from Meta, where I give us a wave. And it's just kind of like a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and I'm writing a speech to come and speak to you tonight. That's what we do. We pick ourselves up and we get on with it, and that's what makes us all brilliant. So enjoy your evening. Many congratulations, and thank you for being such amazing, trailblazing women.
Huge thank you, Tonya. Not just for what you do for your constituents in Parliament, but what you do for women. So, I was saying, I am the 586th woman ever elected to this Parliament. That's less than the number of MPs that currently sit in the House. And when I say ever, I mean ever, since this Parliament was first established. I'm the second Emily ever elected. So you can imagine for my colleagues who have less common names than Emily, I think it's been in one of the top 10 girls' names forever, for the last 100 years, they are often the first with their name. I'm sure you're the first, Tonya.
I'm going to go to the name of Bambos Shavalambos though.
No, but he has a fantastic name.
I was gutted.
He has a fantastic name. And it's true, he is the first Bambos. But that journey into Parliament is difficult. And we know that we do it by lifting each other up. My history is I ran a small business. I started a small business with a colleague. We were tired of always never getting to reach our potential because we had male bosses who, quite frankly, did not exploited our talents, recognized our talents, but never rewarded our talents. So we started our own business. And within a year of starting that business, I had my first child. So that's an interesting experience. We had a team of 5, all women except for one young man who was an intern, and he was quite shocked by the fact that 2 weeks after giving birth, I started bringing my baby into the office because there was nobody else to do the work. And I just said to him, you're going to have to get over it. If you want to get paid, I have to come into the office. And if I have to come into the office, the baby's coming with me. And so often we see that in female-run businesses. This flexibility around knowing that you didn't give birth to your brain, you just have another brain to feed. And that is actually too often what we are accused of. It's somehow like you've given birth, therefore you're not as smart as you were before. You're not going to be as hardworking as you were before. And you certainly can't achieve what you used to achieve before you had children. Now, all of us in this room know that is completely wrong. Could use another term, but we're in polite company, so I'm not going to use that. So let's look at some of the stats. Let's look at what women actually contribute, not just to our social value, not just because it's an equality issue, but actually to the bottom line of both business and our country. So 46% of UK entrepreneurs, last year we have details for, 46% of our UK entrepreneurs are women. That's gone up from 5 years before when it was only 33%. My guess is that it will go up even further if we just give people a chance. Our UK female entrepreneurship rate is higher than France, it's higher than Germany, but it's lower than the US. 1 in 10 women started businesses in 2023 versus 1 in 8 men. Now, let's start looking at the value of that. Only 2.8% of the total UK equity deal value went to an all-female founder team in 2023. But women-owned businesses contributed an estimate 105 billion to the UK economy. 105 billion. And if women started and scaled new businesses at the same rate of men, that would go up by another 150 billion. So yes, it's good for innovation because we have brilliant minds and ideas. It's brilliant businesses because we know how to work and build teams, but it's also good for the UK bottom line. And so when people say this is some kind of weird DEI policy, it isn't. It is proper, good economics, and we need to get that message out to every single person that is looking to fund businesses. Investing in women's business is investing in our growth, and it's investing in good businesses. So we're going to hear from some amazing women today getting awards, and they thoroughly deserve it. And I hope once they've been successful in their businesses, they will come and campaign and join us on the Labour benches where we value those women's voices. And in order to help you do it, I have the pleasure of introducing Rhiannon Davis.
Thank you, good evening. So my name is Rhiannon Davis and I am the Director of Labour Women's Network. And it is a real pleasure to be here tonight, and thank you to SME for Labour for inviting me to say a few words. And I also just wanted to recognise all of the brilliant women in this room who have won awards, who've been nominated, who work every day, and to the women who came before us, whether it's Emily's grandmother or the women who came before us in Parliament. I think we all know those women around us who've helped and supported and uplifted us in good times and in bad, and they are so important to have that network, and it's part of that I'm going to speak a little bit about tonight. Because at Labour Women's Network, we train women to lead. So we equip our graduates with the skills to be strategic and to be resilient. And I know that all of the women in this room who lead small businesses are absolute encapsulations of those two skills. So I'm really, really pleased to be here tonight. As director of Labour Women's Network, I see every day how powerful women's leadership can be, whether it's in Parliament, whether it's in councils, whether it's leading a team or a campaign or an organisation or a small business. Brilliant women are running things and driving change. But let's be honest, sometimes it is a little bit exhausting. With the change and the driving and the leading, it can be isolating, it can be exhausting. And we all know how that feels like sometimes when you come up against the harassment, the sexism, the feeling that sometimes just the institutions are not working to help you, they're working against you. And the balancing act of driving forward, having those ambitions, delivering on those, and balancing that with family life, with caring responsibilities, and with this endless kind of requirement that we all spend time on self-care. And I think that was one of the things that we really come back to, is that we know self-care is important, but too often it becomes like this platitude or a stick to beat ourselves with, that we haven't done yet another thing on our massive long list of things to do. So I wanted to just give you one quote that I turn to quite often, which is that caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. And this comes from an incredible woman called Audre Lorde, who was an American woman activist. And she understood that as a writer and as an activist and a self-described warrior, that she needed to guard herself physically and mentally in order to keep doing the important work for her community. And I think that's something that I hope resonates with some of you. It certainly has carried me forward on some difficult days. And the work that we do at LWN, we train women. So we have trained well over 350 women through our Joe Cox Women in Leadership scheme, because we know that our labour movement is really enhanced by having an army of feminist change makers, making waves, taking the status quo and rewriting it so that it really works for women. And I just want to flag here that please do keep an eye out very soon, because the next cohort of applications for the Joe Cox Women in Leadership scheme will be opening very, very soon. So please do keep an eye out for that. And if you know a brilliant woman, please encourage her to apply. So I think what I really want to say is that tonight for LWN, and I know for all of you, what we want to do is take that frustration, that exhaustion, and turn it into energy. Whether it's showing up in our meeting rooms, in boardrooms, in the political chamber, because that resistance and that resilience really matters, because those barriers are real. Women are facing them every day. And that is really what drives us at LWN, is changing some of those barriers. So what I really hope from tonight is that we all take energy from celebrating some of the brilliant women who are winning awards tonight, and from each other, because we all know the incredible energy and persistence and resilience that it takes to succeed. And I really hope that, as we do at Labour Women's Network, that we can all uplift each other and cheer on our sisters as they succeed. So thank you for inviting me to speak tonight. And I do hope, if you're not a member of LWN already, please do go take a look or come and have a chat to me, and I'd love to talk to you about what we do. Thank you.
Right, now we're on to the business of awards, which is, of course, what you're all here to actually talk about. Just to say, I just want to flag up that the LWN has been a crucial part of our movement. And if we look at those forces of populism out there right now that are trying to divide us, one of the reasons they can do that is because Parliament doesn't look like our country. Parliament has to look like our country. I'm going to be quite controversial here. That means at least 51% of MPs should be women. And those faces should look like they come from every community in our country. It is still too stale, male and pale. And many of the colleagues on our side of the benches would absolutely agree, even if they meet those definitions. We have to change that, because otherwise what we see is exactly what's happening right now, where this chamber is being used to divide this country. So whether you make it here or not, this is a fight we're all in together. So participate in LWN. If you are our male allies, lift us up. Be part of that discussion and make sure that that never wins in country such as ours in Britain. So our first award goes to the amazing Amanda Brock in Open UK. Yay, Amanda. Will you give us some words of inspiration,
Some words of
please?
inspiration, okay.
Oh,
Let's
sorry,
see
we
what
have to
we've
take
got.
pictures
Okay,
first.
pictures with these.
Okay, all right. Come on.
So, is that all okay? Can you hear me okay? It's a little bit of a shock to find out that I was going to get this evening. And I thought it might just be worth sharing a little bit about who I am, not so much what I do. So I grew up in a hill in Scotland, which is probably not immediately obvious to anybody because I've spent over 30 years in London. And I grew up in a council estate there until I was 10 years old. My dad had a small business, he rented it initially and then over time he bought it. When I was about 4, I learned to count on his takings. I used to sit and count them every night, so when I went to school I could already count. And I went on to be the first in my family to go to university. I studied law. I have 3 law degrees from 3 different countries because I'd got this bug of having to prove myself. Nobody needs 3 law degrees, never let anybody tell you that you do. It's just the way these things go sometimes. And I went on to be a lawyer in London. I moved into companies. I worked for 25 years across the tech sector, mainly in companies running legal teams. Do you know what? I was pretty good at it, but I never really liked being a lawyer. But when you come from the kind of background that I came from, it was a safe bet. It meant that I was always going to be able to look after myself. I was always going to be able to make money. And it was something that my parents were very proud of because they never had the opportunity to do that kind of thing themselves. So about 6 years ago, when I was 49, late in life I guess, I made the decision to stop that and go and do something that I really wanted to do. And I set up a business 6 years ago. I'm probably a co-founder is a fair way to say it, but the driving force behind an organisation called Open UK, which has been recognised tonight also. And we are tiny, right? We have 3 or 4 staff at best, a whole group of contractors who work with us, and then hundreds and hundreds of people who volunteer their time. And they volunteer their time because we have a mission, we have a purpose that is about the democratisation of technology. 30 years ago, when I started to work in the tech sector, there is absolutely no way, if we'd understood what was going to happen today with a handful of people, a handful of companies, owning the digital environment that we rely on for our public sector and our private sector technology, that any political party, any government, any ecosystem would have allowed that to happen. And what we do at Open UK is we campaign in lots of different ways for open technologies. And what that means, open source software, hardware, data, open source AI, what we mean by that is technology that's democratized. Don't care where it's made. You know, when people talk about sovereignty, we're not really worried if it's made in the UK, although we're pretty damn good at it here. What we worry about is that we have access to the underlying technology, that nobody can come and take it away. And even if we seem dependent on them, we know that the data, we know that the software belongs to us, the AI. So we work as a group of hundreds and hundreds of people campaigning for this open technology, and we've had a huge impact. So I will give you a few little things about us. On average, open source software is 10 to 7. We hit almost 50% of our audience not being white. And that is almost unheard of in any tech event anywhere in the world. And it doesn't just happen. Part of it is me. And I think there's this thing that if you want to be it, you need to see it. I was a lawyer for 25 years because I didn't know what I could be. You know, when I was a kid, I could be a lawyer, I could be a vet, I could be a doctor if I worked really hard. But I didn't realise the opportunities that the world had to offer us all. And I've been so lucky to have stumbled into tech and to have stumbled into open source, where the sort of collaborative projects that we work on give people opportunity. And one of the things we would really like to see this government do is to encourage more skills development through encouraging young people who've been taught to code but don't get jobs right now. And it's a tough market. If any of your kids are looking for jobs, I know just how hard it is. In their own time, they can contribute to projects, and they will learn from those projects the way they would learn in a work environment with people from across the planet. Mark Zuckerberg at Meta wrote a brilliant blog about 18 months ago saying that he doesn't advertise for jobs anymore. He goes to these open source software projects and he finds the best engineers and he hires them. Now you can be seen by contributing to those projects with a sort of living CV that evolves on GitHub, which you can be in for free, and you can be on those projects learning more and building the opportunity to find yourself jobs all over the planet by becoming involved in open source. And that's just one aspect of what we want to encourage. So I don't want to get too technical and bore you all, but I want to say thank you very much. There's a few of my colleagues from Open UK in the room, and I'm going to call out Katie. So Katie is an engineer at Apple. She's from Romania and lives in London. I've been nominated for a lot of these sort of tech Women of the Year type awards, and I've never won one. I nominated Katie for Next Gen, and she won it first time round. So, you know, we have lots of stars from our organisation and lots of women doing great stuff in tech. And I think this is not just for me, but for all of them and the way they've lifted me up. Thank you, everybody.
That was really inspirational, Amanda, and I love the way you've ended it with "we all lift each other up," because I think that's the theme for this evening. So our next winner tonight is Sophie England from Meta.
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much because I have to say, I didn't know, I knew I was going to come to the awards, but I didn't know I was actually going to say anything until about 2 hours ago. And during that time, everyone who's a working parent will know it's half term. I had to make dinner, and so I was kind of writing this and doing bedtime and trying to get here. So I won't be saying too much, but thank you so much firstly to SME for Labour. Donna, your speech was amazing, and I just want to say it's really inspirational to hear your story. And thank you to Emily and to Tonya and all the things that you said about hosting us. I've never actually won an award before. I'm a bit like Amanda, so this is kind of new territory for me, let alone for being a woman. And so when I asked Donna, well, what would you want me to talk about? She was like, we'll just talk about being a woman and being, in the workplace. And I've never talked about that. I've talked about what I do, and I work at Meta, and that was a really new thing to talk about. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about being a woman today. You said talk about resilience, and I've worked at Meta for 7 years. And I guess working at Meta, I know a bit about being resilient. I get lots of questions from lots of people in this room about what it means to work at Meta. But today I just want to share a few words about being a mum and being a woman. I have 2 kids who are under 5. I'm going to be a spoiler here. Despite working with Meta and we own Instagram, I have no Instagram hacks for you or no amazing accounts for you to follow, I'm afraid. But what I can say is just share my own raw experience, which is that it has taken every single ounce of support and resilience that I have in the network around me, to get into work every day. It's really, really hard, and I have an amazing network around me. I have a great boss, I have great colleagues, I have a great husband who really does co-parent. He took shared parental leave, tick. I find it really hard. I work for one of the world's most profitable companies. We have amazing policies, yet I struggle every day. So it's not a surprise to see the shocking stats about women, and in particular mothers, leaving the workplace in their droves. I don't blame them. I honestly, probably like everyone around here, regularly think about whether it's worth it. I've done 3 hours in the morning before I even started my day, and then I do another 3 after the laptop shuts. And that's on a good day that I don't get that call from nursery that we all dread. And you see that number ringing, and you think, oh my God. And you have to balance it and argue about whose work is more important. But as everyone should know, and Emily very well articulated, keeping women like me and absolutely every other woman in this room in the workplace isn't a nice to have. It's so important for our economy, and it's so important for our innovation. In the UK, particularly when I look at sectors like the one I work in tech, and I work in AI policy, too often I'm the only woman in the room. I remember one it was terrible. I'd been back from mat leave for about 4 weeks, and I had to go in on 3 hours sleep and host and chair this meeting of 12 men, and it was just awful, and it was really tough. But it's so important that we are in the room. As women, we're building this technology, we're adopting it, we're shaping it, we're spotting the risks. We're finding those missed opportunities, and if we want technology like the one that technology that we do at Meta, it serves society, and we have to be in the room as we're having those conversations, we're building and being part of that technology, whether that's writing the code, writing the policies, or being on reception. It's just so important. So here's my ask for everyone here and for our parliamentarians in the room. keep going, I guess. Like, there have been some amazing developments, and I think it's all very easy to criticise where we're at now, but there's been some amazing efforts. You know, I was really pleased about the expanding childcare provisions. Those who get 3 hours now for under 2s is amazing. You know, flexible working is becoming a bit more normal, and shared parental leave is amazing. Not enough people do it, so I can't champion it enough. But there is so much more we need to do. You know, things like proper paternity pay, like dads get 2 weeks off. So a big shout out to my colleague and friend George Gabriel at Dad Shifts. Please support the work that they do, or continue to work on protecting returning mothers as they come back to work. You know, so many friends that I know and colleagues have faced a situation where they come back to work and their job is not their own anymore. It's changed, it's been given away, and there's an excuse, and it's just not good enough, and we need to do more. And I know that there is amazing work going on, but we just have to keep doing more. So sorry that hasn't been mostly positive, but you know, it's real. So I just want to say, like, it's amazing to be in this room with all these incredible women who, like me, have already got up and done 1,000 things before they've even got here today. So let's just take a minute, have a drink, and just celebrate being us. So thank you for recognising us, and yeah, thank you to all my other winners.
Thank you so much, Sophie. And while there might not be one specific Instagram handle that will give us all the answers, what I would suggest is we all follow each other, because I'm sure all the answers are here in this room. And actually by doing that, we're also lifting each other up. So maybe sharing some Instagram handles at the end so we can all follow each other might be a good idea. Our next recipient is Dr. Arya Tamu.
Good evening, everyone. It's a true pleasure to be here tonight, and I'm very honoured to receive this award. And I'd like to thank SME for Labour for this wonderful evening, for celebrating women's leadership and resilience, and also for creating space to recognise stories like mine. I come from the brave Kurdish city of Kobani in Syria. And like many others, I fled the war 9 years ago with my family in search of safety and a better future. I arrived in the UK as a refugee with nothing, starting from scratch. A new country, a new language, and a long road back to the profession I loved. Today, I'm proud to stand here as a fully qualified GP with the privilege of caring for people in the community that welcomed me. I'm deeply grateful to the United Kingdom, a country that gave me safety, opportunity, and the chance to give back as a doctor. The kindness and the support I found here turned a story of displacement into a story of belonging and contribution. For me, resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's about rebuilding again and again with hope and purpose. And leadership isn't about titles. It's about leading by example. It's about showing others that it can be done, even when it seems impossible. Tonight, I'd like to share this award with every woman from Kobani to London and beyond, who's faced hardship with courage and turned it into hope and strength. Our stories might be different, but our spirit is shared. We rise, we rebuild, and we lead by turning pain and struggle into purpose and impact. Thank you.
What a powerful, powerful story. That was just amazing. And you know, we may not have shared the same experiences, but as you said, we share the same determination and spirit. So just, you know, fantastic. And can we all get an appointment with you as a doctor? Good. Right. Our next recipient unfortunately can't be here with us, but has sent a wonderful colleague to come and accept her award. And the recipient of this next award is Sonia Khan from Cicero Group, and her colleague will be accepting it on her behalf.
Thank you. I can do a photo.
Yeah.
I don't have to do a photo.
You can say, wish you were here. Yeah. There we go.
Thank you.
I'm not going to lie, what I'm going to say is never going to top that. Sonia is really, really honoured to have received this recognition from SME for Labour. For her, supporting women in business isn't a party political issue. It's about ensuring that women from every background and every sector have the opportunity, confidence and support to succeed. She's spent a lot of her career helping women navigate complex workplaces, advocating for them, shaping policy, and ensuring that equality and growth prevails. Again, she's very, very grateful, and yeah, thank you for recognising the importance of her contribution. Thank you.
Fantastic. And so we're going from the UK to the world with our next award. Our next award is for Hatice Beton, who is the G20 and G7 Health and Development Partnership.
All right, great. I'm standing between the boards, so I will hurry up. Thank you, Emily, for your powerful words. And Donna, I wasn't aware that she led this amazing business, and obviously to all the other women who just presented their case. Shall I continue or shall I wait for this to?
No, you keep going.
Okay,
You
all
keep
right,
going.
all
It's
right.
just me affected. You guys keep going.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the reality of Parliament. So a few words, because I don't want to keep up everyone's time. I think my story as well, as you can hear from my accent, I'm coming from Germany. 10 years ago, I entered this country as a student. Back then, a lot of ambitions, a lot of fears, how to build a business, and also a non-for-profit organization, which is the G20 Health and Development Partnership. So I guess before I go into what we do in just 2 sentences, one thing I would like to reflect on is what Emily and Tonya said before. Women who became mothers usually are being held back in society, are not courageous enough to build businesses. And today we heard of many women who actually grew into their roles and became the best version of themselves. And as you can see from my current state, I was one of these women when I came to this country 10 years ago, working day and night, as my husband knows, to grow from an intern to a CEO role, leading a public affairs firm in the United Kingdom, and creating my own non-for-profit organization promoting women's health initiatives around the world with G20 governments. I thought having a child would put me back, because I'm flying more than I'm on the ground. But one thing that I learned, and thank you, Parliament, one thing that I definitely learned is, now as you can see, I'm heavily pregnant. It actually encourages you more to do more and bring the best out of yourself. And hearing all the stories from these great women, one thing I learned in this journey is the more you strive and get out of your comfort zone and you challenge yourself, the more you're surprised actually how much you can do. And my takeaway, because Donna said give some reflections of your own inspiration, is keep going, don't stop. And you will achieve the next level, basically, of your success. And as Tonya said, behind every woman, there is a successful woman, a man, who support them. And I must say, I'm grateful that today my husband and my father are here as 2 great men that have been leading me all my journey in the last 10 years. Without them, I couldn't really do it. And I mean, between us, I think they came mainly because they're afraid I will pop out anytime soon, in 3 weeks' time. But thank you for them as well. And just in terms of last reflections that Emily mentioned, over 105 billion are generated annually by women creating businesses. In the work we do in the G20 Health and Development Partnership, we are promoting women's health initiatives around the world. We are modeling new financing models with multilateral development banks, G20 governments to close the women's health gap, which is a massive rising gap if we don't tackle it now. Just one statistic to leave you with. In the United Kingdom alone, annually, we are burdening our health systems with 20 billion annually because of the neglect of women's health in the workplace and in our environment. So now imagine if we would have a better preventative care system and support women in the workplace and their health and well-being, actually the 105 billion can quadruple with the contribution women can make. In our case, we will continue making the argument of women's health around the world with G20 leaders, and why values of us here is that we keep supporting each other as a network, and this should continue. So I would like to thank the organizers for setting this award up and also this platform. And I wish you all a nice evening, and thank you again, Donna, for inviting us.
So Emily has had to leave to vote. So we've got 2 awards remaining. The next award is for Kitty Usher, who is an economist, and unfortunately Kitty couldn't make it tonight, but she has a few words that she'd like us to share with you. She says, "There's no contradiction whatsoever between being a successful business leader, being a Labour supporter and being female. Congratulations to SME for Labour for making that point loudly and clearly. The irony is that given it's half term, I can't be with you in person. Sorry about that, but have a great evening. Congratulations to all the achievements being celebrated tonight, and thank you for the recognition." And our last award is for Kate Nichols from UK Hospitality. Unfortunately, Kate got stuck on a train up north and again couldn't attend. But she sent her thanks and again congratulations to everyone who has won an award. I'm happy for everyone to feel free to network and have some more drinks until Emily comes back for closing remarks. Thank you.
And it is what we need to do to make sure that we are representing everybody, but also that we know the best of how we grow businesses here in the UK. So if you're not a member yet, there are lovely pamphlets up at the front. Become a member. Please engage in the other events. I'd also like, of course, can't forget to say thank you to Donna. She has been fantastic and spectacular, so big round of applause for her. And your team, because as I'm sure she's also very good at getting others to help a little bit as well. And finally, a huge thank you to Labour Women's Network for coming and supporting today as well. Please do approach Rhiannon because there is opportunities definitely to get involved. And then finally, just to say, we have a fantastic cohort of Labour women and men who are here as MPs in Parliament. Reach out to us. Help us do our jobs. We didn't kind of become elected and then all of a sudden become omnipotent and understand everything. So we need your help to make sure that we continue to build and grow this country, not just its economy, but its cultural resilience, its values, and make sure that we fight what is coming or what the media are predicting is coming for us. Though I believe that we are the silent majority in some of this. So this is a movement. It's a movement built on people from all walks of life, and that includes each and every one of you here in the room. So work with us and we'll work with you, and actually we can make this country the very best in the world. Thank you.